Good evening and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Haiti. More than 1 million people, over half of them children, are now displaced within Haiti, where gang violence continues unabated despite the start of a United Nations-backed security mission last year. The tally of 1.4 million displaced people released by the International Organization for Migration represents a threefold increase from December 2023, when 315,000 people were homeless. Never before have so many people been displaced by violence in the country, according to the UN data. Armed gangs within Haiti now have near total control over the capital Port-au-Prince and wide remit over the rest of the country. An international mission approved last year tasked with restoring order has so far seen just a fraction of troops deploying, although 2 contingents of Guatemalan soldiers arrived this month to boost the mission's forces. And now for some international news. The Biden administration said it would remove Cuba from its terrorism blacklist, while Cuba said separately it would release upward of 500 prisoners from its jails, dual announcements poised to reshape U.S.-Cuba relations just days before Donald Trump takes office. President Joe Biden's announcements effectively roll back many of the sanctions put in place by President-elect Trump during his previous term, ending in 2021. If they endure, they would represent the most significant advance in U.S.-Cuba relations since the Obama-led era. Trump, a harsh Cuba critic who designated the island a state sponsor of terrorism, has not yet commented on the measures but has promised a hard line on the communist-run country. He also nominated U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, the son of immigrants from Cuba and an outspoken critic of the island's government, as Secretary of State. Biden's announced plan, subject to the review of Congress and the incoming Trump administration, would lift Trump's 2021 designation of Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism, easing sanctions on an island already suffering a deep economic crisis. They would also revoke a 2017 Trump order that restricted financial transactions with some military and government-linked Cuban entities, according to a senior administration official. Biden also seeks to prevent individuals from filing lawsuits against both Cuban entities and foreign companies under the Helms-Burton Act over property seized following Fidel Castro's 1957 revolution, the official said. We tell you now that Yoon Suk-yeol has become South Korea's first sitting president to be arrested after investigators scaled barricades and cut through barbed wires to take him into custody. Yoon, 64, is being investigated on charges of insurrection for a failed martial law order on December 3 that plunged the country into turmoil. He has also been impeached by Parliament and suspended, but will only be removed from the office if the Constitutional Court upholds the impeachment. However, Yoon's dramatic arrest on Wednesday brings to an end a weeks-long standoff between investigators and his presidential security team. Investigators from the Corruption Investigation Office for High-Ranking Official CIO failed to arrest him on January 3 after being locked in a 6-hour standoff with his security detail. Other officials in the arrest team, which numbered around 1,000, scaled walls and hiked up nearby rails to reach the presidential residence. After several hours, authorities announced that Yoon had been arrested. In a 3-minute video released just before his arrest, the 64-year-old leader said he would cooperate with the investigators, while repeating previous claims that the warrant was not legally valid. On Wednesday afternoon, investigators said Yoon had remained silent throughout questioning. I am KERESE Gonzalves. Thank you for watching.